Hello everyone and welcome to another film review video from ramshouse.com. Today we're going to be discussing 5th round pick David Edwards, offensive tackle, right tackle specifically out of Wisconsin. Guys, thank you for coming and checking out the video. If you guys haven't checked out the website, ramshouse.com yet, I would definitely urge you guys to do so. We're going to be adding a forum section in the site soon to give Rams fans a place to go and talk about any Rams related things they would like to. So keep an eye out for that. Follow us on Twitter. But without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome David Edwards to the LA Rams and talk about who the Rams got in the 5th round. All right, so the first thing that we're going to look at here is the PFF draft preview of David Edwards. Now, the first thing that we point out from this is that he had a decline in his play from 2017 to 2018, a fairly substantial one. Now, his run blocking only went down about 5 points, but we see a pretty sharp decline in his pass blocking, and we're going to discuss that in a second. And you can see it in the top right as we look up the numbers. He went from 8 hurries to 18 hurries in a single year with less snaps. So that's actually a really important facet. It's about 90 less pass blocking snaps, and still, more than doubled his hurries. So we'll talk about all that stuff. And then his advanced stat. Now, keep in mind, you don't make it to the 5th round without having some issues. So we're going to be discussing those issues and maybe what caused him to drop that far and maybe what happened. So the first issue that we can talk about is this tweet from Vincent, and it essentially articulates that David Edwards was battling through a shoulder injury the entire year. He's fine now. He's all healed up, but it definitely affected his play significantly. And so one of the things that we're going to do today is we're going to be watching film from him from 2017 at right tackle and film from him in 2018 at right tackle to kind of get an idea. And for those of you who don't know David Edwards' background, he started out as a tight end. He transformed into a right tackle. He plays for the same school, same position as Rob Havenstein. And he actually will remind you on film a lot about Rob Havenstein. His strength isn't his athleticism, but he's pretty technically sound and he has some great qualities about him. So let's go ahead and continue on here and see what we got next. So 2017, this chart from PFF is from 2017, and you guys see his pass blocking efficiency. He allowed 2 pressures in his first 134 pass blocking snaps. So he had a phenomenal start to his 2017 season. Legitimately making a claim to being one of the best tackles in the country, for the beginning of the 2017 season. And then we can see that this is a chart of coming into the 2018 season. He was considered by PFF a top 5 tackle. So there was a lot of things to like about David Edwards after his 2017 season. A lot of people were very high on him, not just PFF. He was pretty widely recognized as a top draft prospect, especially considering Wisconsin produces some pretty good old linemen, particularly at right tackle. David Edwards was a stalwart in 2017. He's a really good season. And we're talking about his PFF grades. Let's go back to the overview page. Overall grade of 80.5. A little bit lacking on the pass blocking grade of 73.9, but an excellent run blocker. So even as you guys can see in the bottom right corner, even this year with the injury all season long, his run blocking grade was still tied for 18th in the country. So that's solid. Now, he came in, and this is kind of where he left off after 2018. Still ranked 8th among tackles in pass blocking grade. So really, really solid, and that's left and right tackles combined. So he's a really good run blocker, but we're going to show you why there's reason to be hopeful and why there's reason to be excited about David Edwards through the film. And just kind of where I want to start off with this is, number one, this his overview chart shows us really one of his first years. 2017 was his first year starting full-time at tackle, and then 2018 is an injury-riddled season. I mean, who knows if he had been healthy, what kind of improvements he could have made throughout his game. Not only is he starting at tackle or starting for the first time, but he's also playing a new position. He had been a tight end up to that. So there's a lot of reason for optimism and wondering, how much could David Edwards have improved in his mind and his technique and all these kinds of things and the way he approaches the game, and his actual football IQ playing the tackle position, at a young age. for either from not having played the tackle position from a young age. So how much could he have improved his football IQ as an offensive lineman? All these things while still having to play hurt. So there's a reason to believe that David Edwards could be a much better prospect than he's given credit for. He was much better in 2017. He played injured 2018, but could he have improved, a lot of other aspects of his game, even though he was injured in 2018, that we're going to be seeing in the future? Not to mention, we know Aaron Kromer is one of the best O-line coaches in the NFL. We know that we have an incredible training staff, and we have an incredible staff as far as keeping players healthy and getting them strong and getting them more athletic. And so I know, like Rob Havenstein, when he first came in the NFL, he was clearly not very athletic, but he's improved his athleticism tremendously. And he's not a top tier athlete, at the right tackle position, but he's improved it enough to where he can be a pretty ridiculous weapon in the run game and the pass game. And so, what kind of improvements can David Edwards make athletically with a great training staff that the Rams have, and with more experience playing on the offensive line as opposed to tight end? So I think there's a lot of reason to be excited. So let's go to watch the film and see what Edwards is going to bring to the Rams. From now keep in mind again. So we're gonna first watch his 2017 film. Now this is a big game. This is Wisconsin versus Ohio State late in the season, and this is a huge game against a really good defense, an absolutely stacked defense. So some of the people that he's going to be facing off here in this is going to be, number one, obviously, Nick Bosa is going to be in this, the number 2 overall pick in the draft. He's going to be one of the main guys that he faces off. He's also going to be facing off against Tyquan Lewis, who was a second-round pick, Sam Hubbard, third-round pick, and then Jerome Baker, third-round pick. So he's facing off against a really talented group of defensive linemen that he's going to be blocking against the run and against the pass, and we're going to see kind of what he can put up against them in 2017 when he was healthy, but also still brand new to the position. So let's get in here and see what. So he's up here, get a nice block on. I believe that's Tyquan. That's Tyquan. So solid block up there. Another solid passing block. So he actually, in this film, I think he does a really good job. And he shows up pretty well against the pass. This is Mr. Lewis that he's blocking for the first few plays here. 59 is Lewis. That's the main guy he kind of is on. And he was a second-round pick. He's a solid player. He was a very talented D lineman. So definitely nothing to scoff at. He's playing against solid competition here. Talking about a fifth rounder going up against a second rounder. So I'm going to rewind and play that one over again so we can get a little bit of a... So he's right here, engaged, and his job is to... Now, it's kind of hard to tell who's not doing their job because the running back tries to run in between here where he has a much larger gap between David Edwards and 81 up here, and I'm trying to figure out potentially why that was the place. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong person. The running back does go into that gap. So he flips his body around, gets on the outside position to hold the door open. I mean, look, there's a safety or linebacker comes through the hole and kind of hits him there early, but David Edwards did his job in that run play, absolutely. Now that play, he gets pretty well beat on. Nice little... now, because the running back had to come up and do the chip on 59... this guy's free. And that is definitively, at least partly, David Edwards' fault. I mean, who knows if the running back was supposed to be looking out for the other guy blitzing or if he was always supposed to be covering the inside. But this guy gets a free clear shot at the quarterback because David Edwards got beat real quick there. This actually ends up being a pretty solid completion, though. Solid play. So that was not what we want to see, obviously, but... Again, we're going against really good competition, and we're not cutting out the bad stuff, try to fluff it up for you. We're showing you the reality of what David Edwards brings to the table because it's not like he can't improve. It's not like he's not going to have deficiencies. He's a fifth-round pick. He's going to have deficiencies. He's going to have a place to improve. The important part is that these are fixable issues. He got beat on a nice move, and that's an issue that's fixable. He's up. He's right here, and he gets just thrown to the ground. That was kind of an odd play. I'm not sure... we're going to see that actually that happens to him a few times throughout the film where he kind of gets knocked to the ground when he's being asked to run a lot. I'm not sure. I mean, look, he was a tight end. He became an offensive lineman. He probably gained a lot of weight fast. I'm not sure if he just not used to keeping his balance at this new weight, or he's just so unathletic that when he's on the run, he just doesn't have great balance. I'm not sure, but that seems to be his main weakness, is when he's asked to move a lot, and we'll see that throughout the film. Top here. Great job blocking. Not sure who that was exactly, but solid pass blocking. Stonewall's number 6 here. Great job. Interception, Denzel Ward. All right. Again, that's him getting thrown to the ground when he's asked to move a lot. And that's something I've seen a couple times throughout the film, and I'm wondering what kind of issue that could be and how fixable it is. He just totally whiffs on that secondary block. I'm not going to rewind it, but he gets to he's tasked. Actually, I'm going to rewind it. He's tasked with going to the second level to get a block off. So that's him on the freaking ground right there. Okay, so here we go. He's tasked with going to the second level to get a block, and he pretty much whiffs on everyone. So he kind of gets this guy a little bit, and then he lets him go to get second level, and he's trying to get this guy. He way overshoots it, and then just kind of falls over as that guy helps secure the tackle. So that's obviously a poor job. When he's asked to move, he tends to not be as effective. That's something he drastically needs to improve on. To the top here. Now that, number 6 again. I'm trying to remember who number 6. I think 6 is Sam Hubbard, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. All right. Now that's Nick Bosa he's going up against that time. Actually, Nick Bosa got on the tight end. Yeah, Nick Bosa's a monster. He is not bad at this football thing. Now he's moving again, and he just kind of falls over into a guy. Doesn't really help in that scenario. I know that wasn't his side, but it's odd that he constantly is falling or getting pushed down so easily in that scenario. Now I wonder real quick whose responsibility that was. He's over here getting his guy, but so that was an interesting play where he moves. Obviously this is I believe this is a designed screen, so they kind of let this guy out. It got pretty quickly out of, he got to the quarterback quickly. It's a designed delayed screen, bad throw, doesn't get it, so not a big deal. If that wasn't a design screen, then it sure as hell looked like one. But all right, top of the line here. Now I don't understand. So that's Nick Bosa there, and again, that one really is worrisome. Like, okay, Nick Bosa's the guy he's lined across from, and he turns to the inside. Like, I get you have a tight end here, but God, that's Nick Bosa. That's Nick freaking Bosa, man. He is a stud of a player, and he was destroying it in 2017. Just one move around the tight end, no big deal. And David isn't really actually even blocking anyone. They said another screen, but were they screening to the tight end? Like, that was a terrible play design if that was the design, but just couldn't. I don't understand why David didn't block. If that was a design screen to the tight end and they let Nick Bosa by, Nick Bosa's a little fast for that, guys. Maybe you should be paying attention to the personnel you're going up against before you do stuff like that. Clearly, Nick Bosa was in his face before he even thought about throwing it. Where's that guy at? I lost. He's over here. Okay. There he is. Again, being asked to move, he keeps his feet, but he also didn't block any. Like, let's watch this again. Because he doesn't actually, he kind of shoves him, and he's like got shoulders to kind of have arms linked. They're kind of like pushing each other, but like he could be creating a lot more space for his guy by getting a real full block in with both his hands and squaring up. I don't know. He cuts back. Certainly David could have given him a better lane, and when he's moving, he's just not as. I mean, I keep stressing it, but you're gonna keep seeing it. When he's moving, he's not as effective. Athleticism is not a strong point. Now that's Nick Bosa that he just beautifully blocked on that pass attempt. Beautifully blocked. This one he goes second level again. He gets a weird shoulder push off on the linebacker, but not what I consider a real block. I went the wrong direction. Let's see. Okay, so this is his block on Nick Bosa again. Solid block. And then, so watch, he's right here. He's not the bottom guy. He's the second guy up. So he goes right by number 11. He goes with 35. Again, it's like a shoulder push. He's not like getting hands on him and actually physically blocking him. And because he gets there slow and he doesn't get his hands on, he doesn't square in to create the gap, like, there's nowhere to go. I know that he wasn't the only one who had that breakdown, but we're watching his film and seeing, and again, he's on the move. He doesn't really secure blocks. He doesn't get squared. That's where he's disappointing, it seems like. Now, that wasn't a bad job. Now, that he didn't have to do a movement. He didn't have to move a lot. So he kind of squared it up, and he opened the inside up, got the gap open for his guy. Like, again, he was in the second level. Didn't really do much. Over here, now he's blocking 11. Nothing crazy. There was a fast pass. All right, let's see what we got coming up. On 11 again. Perfectly fine blocking job. Like, there's some definite red flags, especially when he's in movement like that. Okay, now that was solid. That was solid. Now let's watch. That was the same kind of play they just ran where they were going to the left, and he was tasked with going to the second level and getting a block on 35. It was actually the same guy he was getting a block on. And that time he did. So he got some red flags where he's definitely not great in movement, but watch this. This was actually great. He gets the chip on number 11, goes to number 35. Boom. That's a block. That's a block, folks. He's squared up. He's got control situation. I mean, not like fully squared up, but he's squared up enough. Has the guy in his arms. Now that's a block. Look, nice push. It didn't go anywhere, but he did his job. He got that guy out of the play. You see the difference between the shoulders nudge that he was giving people, kind of shouldering to pushing, and that physical block. There's a huge difference in how successful that play is. Blocking number 11. I mean, look, he's solid in pass blocking often. I'm thinking that he improved throughout 2017, and then the shoulder injury really hurt him. I mean, the shoulder injury really affects you more pass blocking than it does in run blocking, because you're doing these battles, these hand battles, and you know you're getting stopped, especially considering depending on which shoulder is injured. Nice block on number 11 again. Man, I wish that guy would have caught that one. That was a pretty ballsy move by the quarterback to toss that in there. I mean, he was open, but still. That was solid again by him. Actually, I lost track of him. Let's go back. So he's there. He is, second level. That wasn't bad. The running back didn't do a great job running through the gap. There was room there. Now he's doing a great job blocking. I don't know. He's on number 6 here. Again, he's doing a good job in pass pro. Like, his pass pros have been impressive to date here. Run blocking. Now, this is actually a pretty decent job. And then, like, the recovery. So, watch how he gets thrown off balance. So, right here, he's off balance. Now, watch him recover. Turn his body to face the inside to create the gap that is his job. Now, watch. So, he's recovering, and then bam, right here. That block is secured. His running back has room to run as far as he is concerned. That is solid. And I mean, it wasn't the greatest block in the world, but the recovery was solid. Got him again. Nothing crazy there. The amount of linemen he faces in this game is interesting, too. Second level, whiffed on the block. Just whiffed on it. It wasn't impactful, but that's not the point. The point isn't whether the missed block's impact. Okay, he missed the block, and boom, the running back gets obliterated for a loss. That's not the outcome. Isn't what's important. It's the good behaviors. They need to be consistent, because if he's consistently not getting good blocks when it's important, how can you trust him to consistently get good blocks when it's important? So the consistency is important, and when he has to go to the second level, he tends to struggle. Although we've seen a couple decent blocks. And these are things that he can improve on. And I think the training staff at the Rams will be able to help him, because I know they helped Rob Havenstein a lot. Rob Havenstein has improved in that kind of thing dramatically, making him one of the best run blockers in the NFL. And when you're considering, beautiful catch, by the way, holy crap. When you're considering also David Edwards' position on the team, right now, he's mainly going to be looking at being a backup tackle. Because we're probably, I mean, Bobby Evans and Joe Noteboom look great. We have Rob Havenstein signed long term. So you're talking about a guy who's going to be a backup almost assuredly. Noteboom or Evans is going to be the starting left tackle, I would presume. You have Havenstein starting at right tackle. So maybe he takes over for Havenstein down the road. But this guy's a backup, so we're not looking for him to be all pro. These are things he can clean up. But really, a guy to like coming from a program you like. Gotta love Wisconsin O-lineman. Solid. I mean, Havenstein came from him. So now, in a little bit here, you're going to see him blocking Nick Bosa a lot more. Nice solid block on Taquan again. Doing his job. He picks up the outside rush in 35. Not great, but listen, that's a blitz. It's a blitz package. His main original guy was 59, and he does kind of a good job of switching and getting. It's just the next play after this one. Kind of want to highlight that because it's an important piece where he identifies the blitzer. He's able to pick it up. You obviously want to see him do a better job picking it up, but he identified it. He gave his guy enough time, and it is a screenplay. Boom. That wasn't on him. He actually held his block up pretty well. Solid job on his block again. There's Hubbard. Pretty sure that's Hubbard. Pretty sure. I don't know why the quarterback didn't throw it away there. He had all the time in the world to throw it away, and he just decided to take a massive loss for no reason. He kind of running around with his like a chicken with his head cut off, not really sure what to do there. Kind of looked at a lot of people. He pretended like he was gonna block people, but didn't really do a whole lot of useful things there. Now that's Nick Bosa, and that's a solid. I mean, Nick Bosa's fast, strong. I mean, he's a freaking beast. So like, it wasn't your prototypical block, but he got his quarterback enough time to step out of the pocket and make a throw. Now he's on Nick Bosa again. That's a nothing burger. Nothing happening there. Rolling out to the other side. That seemed like a design rollout. He's on Nick again. Solid block. Now he gets thrown off balance at the end there, which is not what you want to see. But he holds the block long enough to get the ball out. And again, Bosa's a top 3 pick. He's a guy who's going to be hard to deal with for most tackles in the NFL, let alone college. I want to say he had like over 15 sacks, like 15, 18 sacks. So like everyone struggled guarding Nick Bosa in college. All right, he's back up at the top. He's not the top guy. He's the second guy. It was a solid start to the block, although it didn't become anything. Solid pass blocking, really good balance, squared up. That was solid. So you see, there's definitely some. Wow, nice play. All right, it's up here. Kitch just tossed to the ground. I know it didn't go his direction, but man, it seems to happen to him too often. He got some nice push there. It didn't come his direction fully, but he got some nice push there. Give him props. I think he'd be a pretty strong dude. He definitely has some good qualities. He's got some red flags. It's nothing that you wouldn't expect from a 5th-round pick. That was a pretty. He tends to get beat a lot. Like, let me rewind this. This happens a lot to him. Let me see. Let's see what happens again. That time he just got straight bull rush, thrown off balance, and look at this. Like, that mess started with him. He got bull rush. But let's go back a little bit to this last play. This one here. Now watch. The speed guys like Nick Bosa, watch how he recovers kind of, but he gets destroyed on the first move. That's not where you want to be as an offensive lineman after that first opening move and opening contact. That is not where you want to be. And he recovers okay, like good enough, but like, man, some of the that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Luckily, it was a really fast play, or that could have been problematic. And in this one, he just gets tossed off balance by 59, and bad news bears. That would have been a bad play, and it would have been on him. Now that's not bad. Although he's still getting shoved back. I say not bad, and then he gives up a sack. Let's watch that again. I mean, he squared up properly, but man, I'm a little worried. The last several plays, Taekwon has just bull rush. I mean, like, look, he's off balance. Like, that's not what you want. Shoves him all. That kind of reminds me of how Aaron Donald does people. He shoved him all the way back to the QB and just reached around and grabbed him and tossed him. There's definitely some concern with that. He's getting very out-muscled there by that guy, by 59. Nick Bosa again. It's a decent blocking job. I mean, Nick Bosa's winning. If you give Nick Bosa enough time against anyone, he's going to end up winning probably. So that was a bit of a false start. I'm surprised I didn't call it. His athleticism is not great. I'm actually a little bit disappointed with his overall strength level. I mean, look, Havenstein's actually a much higher pick, but he seems to be getting manhandled strength-wise by 59 quite a bit. He's getting outmaneuvered by several people, like 59, Nick Bosa are outmaneuvering him during some plays, but he's getting out-strength quite a bit, which I'm a little bit surprised about. This is a tough game. It's a tough game. Because he's facing one of the best D-lines in football in a long time. And he's facing first, second, and third round picks every single down. But you're seeing the reason why he's a fifth round. Even in 2017, he's showing you reasons why he was a late round pick. Again, getting beat pretty bad by Bosa. And that's why we talked earlier about how we said we freeze framed it and said this is not where you want to be if you're a tackle. And even though he kind of recovered on that play and gave his guy just enough time to get the ball out, that's why it's important, is because like on the last play, it was a longer extended play and he lost it. He seems to give up a lot of ground when he's dealing with bull rushes. He seems to give up a lot of ground. Hubbard just blew him blind past him. And it's fair to say that part of that turnover is on him. I mean, he allowed the pressure, which caused a probably early errant throw. So he's over here. Now, this is 2018. Now, this year he's playing Western Kentucky. It's not exactly, top-level talent like Ohio State. But this is the best quality film I could find for this. So it's right there. So he did a pretty solid job of getting in. I remember the talent disparity is massive between Western Kentucky and Ohio State. Especially when we're talking about guys like Nick Bosa and Taekwon. So yeah, I mean, we're not seeing anything special, and this is a nice pass block. You can tell the level of talent is very, very different and drastically different. So we're not going to watch a ton of this film because I don't know how much we're going to learn from it. And we got a lot of good stuff from the Ohio State film. I thought that was really telling of some of his strengths, some of his weaknesses. But he's a smart O-lineman coming from a really quality school. And we have an O-line coach and we have a training staff that can make him drastically improved at some of these weaknesses that we're seeing him struggle with. The reason why this film isn't as important, and he just got dropped on his butt, is because the level of talent he's facing in this game is not is not really a real comparison to what he's going to be facing in the NFL. Whereas the other game was all NFL players. Point is, though, is that look, that was another solid block there. I mean, David is a good run blocker, not great in space, not great if he has to move, and struggles a little bit with really, really strong bull rush type guys and with speed guys to the outside. But those are things that are fixable through technique, through training, through gaining athleticism by he probably has more room to bulk up, to get stronger, to get a little bit more faster, more athletic. And he's got a lot of technique to work on because he's only been playing tackle for 2-3 seasons. I mean, transition from tight end to tackle is a big deal. But you like his football IQ. You like, he's not making like boneheaded plays. He's not like doing dumb stuff that like, make you go, man, this guy doesn't have a clue, right? Like he's not doing any of that. So we like a lot of the foundational pieces that he has as a player, and we see the potential for growth. And you believe in your staff, you believe in your training staff, you believe in your O-line coach to help him improve in these areas. So for a guy who's probably going to be a backup for the majority of his career, unless he like really, really, improves dramatically, which is totally possible over the next few years. Maybe take over for Havenstein in the future when his contract is up. Lot to like. Lots to like and a lot of red flags. I mean, I don't want to butter up. I don't want to be a homer and make it seem like it's better than it is. David is a solid 5th-round prospect, somebody who may be a lot better in the future, but he's a backup tackle. I mean, think about some of the guys we've seen. I mean, to be honest, like a lot of what we've seen on film is better than what we saw from Greg Robinson at the pro level, and he was a 2nd overall pick. So, yeah, keep that in mind. We've seen a lot. We've seen our fair share of bad offensive linemen, if you've been a Rams fan for as long as I have. David Edwards is better than a lot of people that we've had over the years, to be honest. And he's a backup for us. So keep that in perspective. But I think there's a lot of room for improvement. There's a lot of room for growth. And that is what I'm excited for. At the end of the day, that's what really matters the most. How much can you improve and grow? How teachable are you? He's already said in press conferences he's been freaking following Havenstein like a hawk and learning from him. So those are all good traits. But guys, thank you for watching the video. Hope you guys learned a little bit about who David Edwards is, your brand new 5th-round pick for the LA Rams. Future backup lineman. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.